Have you ever wanted to hide? You want to help, but you have to take care of your family first. Maybe this next paycheck I can support causes I love. Tell me, how does this sound? You shop, click a picture of a receipt, and pick someone you support while shopping for your family. Well, check out communitypayitforward.us. Hover your mouse here. Click on the Verified Given Partner button and shop with any partner that will satisfy your needs. Grab the receipt because every time you shop, a Community Pay It Forward mission partner receives anywhere from 80 to 90% of a referral. You can find the mission partners by going right here. Each mission has a QR code so you can upload your receipt. And that's it. Shop, click, and pick. Join the program. You shop with small businesses and support great people. Great people who need a little help, or help to support the great people doing great things. Because with Community Pay It Forward, you don't have to hide anymore. Community Pay It Forward knows every small business is essential.
Into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
I got to sit and listen to that great man perform a couple of songs at the Celebration for Life for a really dear friend who we lost earlier this year. She lost her life to cancer, and we got to celebrate her life this last Saturday. And it was really good to see some of my biker friends. And I'm not in that world as much as I like to be anymore. And it was really cool seeing some of the guys coming back from Florida, some of the girls come back from Kansas. Dear friend. Just found out she just moved back from Hawaii, and another group of really good friends that helped me out right after my accident that ended up showing up in town all the way from New York. So, Ducky, we're going to miss you. And I love that Mike told that story, and the story is very simple. And I'm just going to start with this. My buddy and I from Darrington Automotive, Logan, and his beautiful wife, Rania, we had a booth at in Idaho Springs here in Colorado. And so we went down, set up, having all kinds of fun. first day wasn't really all that busy, so we made it through it, and we decided to go out and grab something to eat that night, head back to the hotel room. Well, we went out with this couple that I'd never met before, but went out with them anyway and had a great time. Went to this little pub and Tommy Knockers. It's I don't know if you guys know who that is outside of Colorado, but Tommy Knockers is a brewery and pretty cool little place. It was all lumberjack theme and stuff like that. Pretty cool little place, and it was kind of funny because the ladies asked for shots. We had Rainier and we had Cheryl, and they couldn't decide what they wanted, so they asked the waiter what they thought, and the waiter simply said duck farts, and the girls were like, "What?" And the guys were even stranger. What? Well, they ended up ordering a round of duck farts. I'm not drinking a duck fart, so that point in time, I wasn't drinking a whole hell of a lot of anything. So they went on ahead and did that, and then the menus were there. And all of a sudden, Cheryl orders a duck burger with duck sauce or with duck bacon and a special duck sauce. Of course, my first question is how the hell hard do you have to squeeze a duck to get it to sauce? I just don't know how hard you have to squeeze. And where does the bacon come from in a duck? Okay, I've eaten a lot of bird in my day. I have never seen a strip of bacon on any bird unless I put it there on a turkey or something. So from that point on, she became Ducky. I started calling her Ducky. And so it was really great that Mike ended up bringing up that story, and it was such a great time, and just seeing, like I said, just seeing the friends there and reliving that, it was awesome. I mean, it truly was. So once again, Cheryl, to you, all of my love. You're going to be missed. You truly are. You're already missed, but we had a good time. And like I said, Theron was there. Theron played a couple songs, even went out of his way and played a Garth Brooks song. And he said, "This is all I need to be in a room full of bikers and screwing up a Garth Brooks song and see how well that goes." I listen to Megadeth. I don't know. Can you screw up a Garth Brooks song? I guess you can, but I wouldn't know if you did or not. So, we had another great show on Monday, and we're going to be playing the replay right after the pACT episode. So please stick around. Leslie was a dear friend to the show. You guys have all seen her before. Leslie was on, and she was talking about a lot of things due to the mental health of women. We all know that there's a difference between men's mental health and women's mental health, okay? One of the coolest things about doing this show on Mondays is we get to learn more about what people are doing. Our guest tonight, which my co-host is going to be introducing here real soon, he was our second guest on Footprints Forward. He was our second guest before it was called Footprints Forward. Let's put it that way. So, he's almost like old hat in the 6 weeks we've had the show. So, but we're excited to talk about him. He is very busy individual. He's got two different programs that we're going to be talking about tonight. And with that being said, I am so proud to introduce, everybody knows her, everybody loves her, the goddess of the grape, Miss Stephanie Samos. How's it going, Mommy?
Going good. That was a great intro, Zach. You had me laughing back here.
I'm going to tell you something. That was one of those things that we were in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Idaho Springs, Colorado, just gorgeous. Our natural amphitheater, this little place that we were. And so the music was, the music was just like bouncing off the mountains. Beautiful, beautiful sound. And then we get there and they want shots. And the guy says duck fart. And I'm like,
well, the duck everything got me. I mean,
oh,
I love
yeah.
bacon, but I've never had duck bacon. And
Sweetie, until that day, I'd never even heard of duck bacon. And I still want to know, how hard do you have to squeeze a duck to get duck sauce? I mean, so, but yeah, and I mean, like I said, ever since then, she was Ducky, and she was like, I've already got a name. Her road name was Blondie. And I'm like, yeah, I know, Ducky. And she's like, no. And I wouldn't let it be. She was Ducky from that moment. And she's always going to be Ducky to me. So
I love it. I love it.
Well, Stephanie, we have Tyreek joining us again. And why don't you tell a little bit of the story about Tyreek and yourself? You guys have a long lasting friendship.
Yeah. So Tyreek and I went to school together. He knows my husband really well also. So it's been a number of years. You grow
Almost
up.
5 of them?
No. I wish. Thanks, Zach, for the compliment there. But, when we were interviewing Tyreek for Footprints Forward, I hadn't even realized all that he was involved with his nonprofits. So at that point, we thought, what a great opportunity to get him on the June fundraiser and have him talk about both of these incredible organizations that are both totally different. He has a heart for veterans and a heart for kids. And, I think we should just jump right in, bring him on and have him kind of talk through some of the fun things that he's doing with both. What do you say?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. You know what? And like you, he has a new addition to the family as well. So why don't you do us the honors?
Yeah. So congratulations, Tyreek. And welcome to the show. But congratulations on that little boy that you're raising. So exciting. And Father's Day is right around the corner. So
oh man, thank you so much. It's definitely different from the first my first kid was 10 years ago. So this is definitely different now than it was 10 years ago, so to speak. I feel like I'm getting so old just talking like that, but it's definitely a difference. I'm more of a worry bug now. Like, why is this? Why is that? Why is this? So, you know how things happen since, COVID and everything else. So I'm pretty much, trying to keep the edge on it, but it's going well.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy that way, Tyreek. And I think it's kind of funny because according to all the commercials, the first kid we would take and we would bubble wrap everything. And then, the second kid, we just throw scissors in their hands or whatever. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
but
man,
like my 2 sons were 7 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
And the growing I did in between those, 7 years was, it was crazy. And now I think about it that I became the father of an 18-year-old just recently.
Oh, wow.
And so, that was like a 20-year-old difference there. And all of a sudden I had a young adult living with us. So,
I get it. Mm-hmm.
But
I understand.
So Tyreek, you had spoken to us on Footprints Forward, and I just want to bring this up a little bit because first off, I want to thank you so much for joining us here for this show. But you were really open with us about your journey and your problems that you had. You had some problems. You were thinking about ending your life. You just didn't know where to go or what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Can you briefly just relive that? And I say briefly, but I don't care if you take the whole 2 hours. I don't care. I love you, man. You got all the time you need. And plus, it keeps me from talking about squeezing ducks. So,
hey, speaking on the duck thing, man, I am, had a good portion of bartending in my life, and that is a shot I actually looked up when I graduated bartending school because it was in my book and I had looked it up and I'm like, why would anybody order that shot? Like, you know what I mean? Just by the name of it, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh. So when you mentioned it, you're the only person since 2006 that I've ever heard mention that shot, just to let you know.
Well, there we go. The duck fart lives. The duck fart lives. So,
But yeah, man. It was a good journey, so to speak, a real learning journey. Um, from the beginning of actually joining the military in 2005 up until when I got out in 2012. So it was a real, like, I was actually just speaking about this earlier today, and I really wouldn't change anything. I'm going to be headed down to the Tomb of the Unknown very soon, the next couple weeks. I got a friend that I met in tech school, that's stationed down there, and I've been wanting to go down there to see that tribute so well. So I'll be headed down there for that. So I don't regret any of it. We go through what we go through for specific reasons, and you make it out of things for specific reasons, and I just love telling stories and talking about it, and being able to encourage the next person to kind of make it through, because everybody experience is different, but it kind of comes around the same type of idea. So, I'm always willing to kind of touch base on that. So, it was very deep because my meaning of joining the military wasn't the reason why I ended up staying in the military, if that makes any sense, because I strictly joined just to get something different. I needed discipline and everything else, and then I fell in love with it. Became such a brotherhood and such a family that you're willing to do anything for it at the point in time, and deploying for about 7 months or so, dealing with those inclement conditions and just dealing with everything over there. Being away from home, being away from family was tough. Um, I don't know if I mentioned the first time, but I was recently married. Not recently, but I was married right before I deployed. So actually being a newlywed, leaving, and going over there was even more crazy, so to speak. And then dealing with family problems and then dealing with, the task at hand, and then, the realization of actually being in a war zone and then having to come back and to adapt to that. So it was a lot going on emotionally. It was a lot going on mentally, to where I had to see counseling a couple times, and that actually did help me. And learning, like I said, to learn self love was the best love. To kind of bring yourself out of it. I thought it was real selfish because I really wasn't a person to think about myself or do for myself. But as every counselor said to me, without yourself, there is nothing else. So, I kind of just, put the love into that, put the energy into that, and kind of brought myself out of it. I always reflect back on my time overseas because it was such a building point for myself and, your inner you know what I mean? And coming back and trying to really adjust to normal life, so to speak. It was not normal by any means. Dealing with, the PTSD and everything like that. Like, to make it to where I am today, I'm very, very thankful and very glad I had I built a support system for myself and had that and was able to kind of conquer that and kind of move forward. And then, like I mentioned on the previous one, going through that episode where kind of wanted to hang it up. Um, I was at the end of the road, but it wasn't all the way there because I feel the difference between me and somebody else who's actually there. There, they actually there is no stopping it. It kind of just hits it, and it's tough. I could talk about the situation all day, but like seeing like certain movies and stuff like that, I can't watch. It's very like it's more painful that way, so to speak. I don't know why, but it just is. So I kind of stay away from that, but if somebody needs help or whatever the case is, I don't mind having conversations with them. And being in that dark space, I've never been in that dark space before. That was actually my first and only time actually being in that space to where you feel like that is your only option. And it's really not. It's really not your only options. There's always options. There's always a way out. You just got to dig for it. And I truly believe in, you're giving battles for a certain reason. And my reason now is to help people go forward. So you can't tap out. You can't tap out. You got to just keep pushing and keep pushing. And that's why I was able to do that, to where when my counseling session was over, my counselor still kept in touch with me because you know, she really wanted to know like what was the outcome of me and everything like that. Like, hey, I'm interested to know like your journey and everything else because it was so amazing to her. And I'm thinking, hey, you see a lot of people, or I would think you do. I didn't feel like my story was any different, but for her, it was, and it felt good to know that that you can actually give your story and actually can influence someone to actually be a better person, or whatever case may be. So it was definitely a journey, and I don't, like I said, I don't regret any of it. I'm glad I was able to bring myself out of it, and I had some family members that I didn't think was actually in my corner, but they actually were the whole time, and I didn't, you're not really thinking that, and I didn't want to let my daughter down ever again.
Yeah.
Like I said, in that situation, I wasn't thinking about her at all by any means necessary, and that's the scary part. That was the most scary part ever, and then being evaluated. When the counselors were evaluating me, and I'm like, "Hey, nah, I'm good. That was just an episode." But deep inside, I was hurting, and they knew that. They felt that. That's why they was like, "Hey, listen, you got to follow up and make sure everything is good because we can lie verbally like this, but your inside and your body language just doesn't do it. Like it just can't hold back the truth. Is going to be the truth, most truth you're going to get." So I was just glad I was able to inner channel that and kind of come out of that, and then where I am today. So that was pretty much the whole journey.
I in which I know that I'm giving this a lot of play, but I think this is really important for us to bring up. We just uh, we just celebrated Memorial Day.
Mhm.
What does you, as a veteran, what does
Mhm.
Memorial Day mean to you? And is there any, I mean, what is Memorial Day to you as
Mhm.
someone who served this country?
Right.
Is there a feeling of loss? Is there a feeling of love? What is that day all about for you?
It's a good question. It's pretty much it's mixed emotions. I actually have a Memorial Day tattoo on my back, because it meant a lot when I actually came home, like that aspect of it, because everything changed when I deployed and came home. So it's not just Memorial Day; it's the Star Spangled Banner. It's people wearing dog tags the wrong way or whatever the case may be. So it's always a feeling connected to the time that I was overseas. Now Memorial Day, and I had to tell a lot of people that year after year, dealing with social media. Hey, thank you for your service from Happy Memorial Day. No, this is not my day. My day is Veterans Day. Memorial Day is for our fallen brothers and sisters that were unfortunate to not make it this far. So on that day is very different emotions, because you're in a situation where you kind of feel like upset type of deal because of the people that have lost, but you feel good that you're able to be connected in that as well. Because and so to speak. So when I was deployed, I had started a silent drill team, was kind of went hand in hand with the honor guard team, and Memorial Day was our second and last and final our performance. So it was based around everything with that, and we had the boots with the gun, the helmet, everything. So everything every year that comes around, I reflect to that. I reflect to the stuff that I've seen over there, the funerals that I've been to, the people that we lost in our unit since we was gone and when we came home. So it's very, very mixed emotions for me when that day comes around.
Well, I appreciate, I truly do appreciate you answering that question. That's something that, I think that I've made it kind of a personal mission that I cannot stand that on that day, when that holiday comes up, we see a lot of the commercials come out about, Memorial Day sales. It's like,
Right,
wait a minute,
right,
we're really careful what we say around Christmas. We're really careful what we say around Easter.
right,
Yet we can use this day as a day to push our goods and services.
hmm,
Yet this is the day that, regardless of what religion you're in,
right,
we've lost men and women on this day. This is a day
right,
for us to remember them. And I think this is one of those days that, personal high horse here, uh, you
right,
know, you know, I'll stand on my soapbox and scream. This is a day that we need to stop using as a day to make your sales.
right.
This is a day
Absolutely.
about our heroes,
Right.
and we had a very, very impactful show on that day. We talked to a couple who, a couple servicemen who ended up losing people in their own, as you just mentioned,
Hmm.
lost some people that you knew. and that day takes on so much more. And it's not every other day. It's
Right.
not every other day. So, I again, I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate
Absolutely.
your being brave and talking about it, because I know that, look, yeah, you don't mind talking about it. You state this. Still can't be easy, is it?
Right. No, it's never easy. Um, but it always feels relieved when you're talking about it. And I was saying to my coworkers after our segment, and I went back to work. That might have been the first time that I ever spoken of that from start to finish, and it just brought back a lot of emotions and feelings, so to speak. So, it's a good thing, to kind of bring it up, because typically you're just mentioning certain things that happened while you were deployed, or I'm talking to people who I was deployed a bit about certain things, but to go from start to finish, step by step, that was the first time that I ever done that. So, it wasn't easy, but once you get going, you kind of just roll with it and just kind of get it.
Well, brother, thank you for
Yeah.
allowing us to be the first ones. I mean,
Right. Mhm.
and thank you for allowing us to, our podium to be that podium that
Right.
you get to talk to people about that.
Right.
Your experience with mental needs, mental health, has led you down a path of, and we're talking a huge path of helping others.
Right.
You have at least two organizations that you're spearheading right now.
Right.
The first one that we'll talk about is Chef for Vets. Can you
Right.
tell us a little bit about Chef for Vets, please?
Yeah, sure. So I started this because number one, I have a cooking business and I love to cook. So I figured why not feed people uh, that helped us serve this country. So um, that's pretty much what I jumped into. So I said, I'm gonna come up with a name and kind of call it, Chef for Vets. And it's still in the process because when I originally registered it, I registered as a regular nonprofit, but then there's a process to do for a veteran nonprofit. So I'm in the process of getting that whole thing switched over. But my goal is to find homeless veterans wherever I can in the local area to start and kind of go out, cook for them, and feed them. Meals are usually around Thanksgiving time. I want to start there, and if we can branch out and get bigger, then I will. However I could do it. And I have friends that are in other states and around the U.S. And my goal was to say, hey, do you know of any local VFWs or shelters or anything like that that we can kind of connect with? So to find them, because that was my toughest part of this mission, was to actually find the homeless veterans. And for my first round that I went out and fed those veterans, I actually got connected with this guy who actually deals with housing for homeless veterans, or like shelters, I should say, so to speak. Is like almost like not want to say boarding homes, but like almost that type of shelter in place. So I connected with him, and he was able to give me like 3 locations, and I was able to go and feed these veterans. And it was so good to hear their stories and talk to them, and you feel instantly connected, and it's almost like a superior thing. Like they've been there, they've done it. You give them the utmost respect, and to actually do something for them, and they were like, hey, you did this for us. We appreciate it, and that was the most satisfying feeling that I felt, dealing with that. So that's what I want to do year in and year out. Every time around that Thanksgiving time, kind of go out and feed as many as I can, and go from there. So that's the whole spiel behind the Chef for Vets.
You and I did talk about this when we first met, that, my family, for 20 years, we gave away free food boxes for both Christmas and Thanksgiving. And
Right.
then we were also trying to cook a warm holiday meal, for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We just ended up trying to do it when it was 40 below zero, and not a lot of people were going to come out for that one.
Yeah,
So,
no.
but so I absolutely love that one. Uh, Can you kind of take us through what you feel when you're cooking for, well, just let me put it this way. How do you feel when you're cooking for that much of a purpose?
Uh, I can't explain that euphoric feeling, because when you're going through it, you just kind of get everything done. And like I said, the first time that I did this, um, it was all about myself. When I do an event now, I got about 5, 6 people with me, chefing up for, whatever event we're doing. So to do that all by myself that day, it was stressful to say the least. I took off from work, I rented a van and I'm cooking all this stuff up in my kitchen and everything like that. And it was a lot. It was a lot going on. And I was like, wanted to make sure I was getting everything done. That was my thing, to make sure I can get it done and be where I needed to be on time. And really didn't relieve or, actually feel that impact until that last stop where I went out to Queens and Queens, New York. And they actually, I was able to really sit down and have multiple conversations with them. And then, when I left there, I was like, this whole day was a success, and everything made it worth it. Everything made it worth it. My back was hurting. Everything was sore. My kitchen was tore up, but it was all worth it at the end of the day. So it didn't really hurt or anything like that. So I can't explain that great feeling, but it was such a joy in my heart to be able to give somebody something that they weren't expecting, number one, and number two, something that they deserve.
Yeah, I relate to you. We do our, we try to do a couple events every year, and one of them that we do is the chili cook-off, and it doesn't matter how prepared you are. That
Mhm.
day comes, and you're like sitting there going, "Where the hell did the time go?" Okay,
Yep.
I was ready for this. I've been waiting for it all year, yet I'm still behind, and
Right. Right.
yeah, but like you said, when we're able to take the toys or now the books to the to the maternity wards and
Hmm.
the children's or all the children's wards of the hospitals, and seeing the
Right.
nurses and even seeing some of the kids when we give them
Right.
these books, it's kind of like one of those, exactly what you said. Wow, I did something,
Exactly. Yep.
and we did something together, and that's
Right.
fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, what? How long have you been doing this?
I started that back 2020. Um, yeah, that might have been around right before. It might have been 2019 ish, around there. So I would say a good 3 to 4 years of kind of being locked in to that field, and we're just looking to grow. Like I said, I got some friends that are stationed throughout the U.S. and that's the next step. Once you go from Jersey, then go to the next state and the next state, and kind of be able to do it like that, and then they could do it on their own, and then we're feeding however we're feeding. And I know there's people out there doing it, right? There's other organizations that are feeding veterans, that are giving veterans clothing, and I'm saying let's all do it together. Let's not get anybody missed. The numbers are so big, that are actually in need of it, so let's all just continue to do what we're doing, and be able to help them veterans out.
Yeah. Um, what are some of the things that, and as you know, every bottle of wine that's sold right now throughout the month of June, you're going to, one of your two organizations are going to end up receiving some money.
Right.
What are some of the things that your organization do? Let's just go with the chef's organization first.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that this will help you obtain?
So strictly for the chef for vets, I mean that's exactly what we are doing. Is actually just feeding the veterans. Like whatever money is accumulated, whatever the case may be, like that's exactly the cause that to go for. And if it happens to where I could do it more than one day and more than one weekend or whatever the case is, then that's what we do. When I did this before, and I had friends reaching out to me, wanting to give me money for this. I told them, don't even give me money at the time. I didn't even want the money. Like, just if you got the local shop right online stuff, let's go there, order the food. I'll go there and pick it up, and I'm gonna just cook it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm about, because I feel like a lot of organizations are out here doing things or saying they're doing things for the right cause, and they're really not. And I just don't want any misconception of that by any means necessary with mine. Like it's strictly for, the love of the veterans, and that's that. So my thing is right now, if when it comes to the Chef for Vets, is being able to feed as many as we can, as many times as we can. I usually cook it. I leave it to one day. Let's say around Thanksgiving time, because it gives me time to prepare for it and prep for it. Be able to build up. So if we build a team and then we could do it together, then we do it together, and that's cool. But if I could say, hey, we could do Thanksgiving, Christmas, first New Year's, whatever. If I got it to do it, I'll do that as well.
Stephanie, did you have anything?
I'm just curious now that you have a few more people on your team, what your
Right.
goal is for this year.
Right.
I know you've done
Right.
a lot of meals just on your own in the past.
Right.
We've heard this story, previously. So I'm just
Right.
curious if there's a goal for the end of year.
My goal is to get more numbers of mouths that I'm feeding. That's my main goal, right? So, if I'm doing 100 or 200 by myself, with a team, I would like to get to 500 and then eventually get to 1,000. Whatever number. To me, the ceiling is there, is infinite. So, my goal is to get it in more and more people fed. That's my goal right now.
I love that. If people want to support and want to put in a ShopRite order or send you, what is it called? Instacart, right? When the time comes that you need all the supplies and stuff.
Correct.
Like, what's the best way? Do you have a list of kind of volunteers that want to get involved with this? What's the best way for them to reach out to you, to connect?
Okay. So, like I said, once this is, I would say by the end of, now that we got paternity leave over here, we got 12 weeks of free time. We can actually attack all these things. So within the next month or so, I will have everything operational as far as like people be able to see stuff visibly, as far as like social media or websites, things go like that. So they'll be able to contact like that. We do have an email, chef for vets at hotmail.com. Like that is the email that I have currently for that. But like I said, we're gonna grow from that as well in the next month or so. That's one of my goals here when I have downtime from the little guy, is to kind of get all my things that I was dealing with, up to par and where they need to be. So when we do get there in November, we're ready to go, because I want to have everything locked in a month prior to that. So, anything we got to knuckle up, we'll be able to knuckle up in that time frame.
Do you ever get people, in which this is one of the things also you and I did talk about, that I had local restaurants that, when we did a couple of the cooking, we had like the Tilted Kilt that would cook, they have the capacity to cook 5 turkeys.
Right.
We had Chili's that would cook the vegetables, and another Applebee's provided and cooked, I think, the dinner rolls or whatever they were. Do you have any restaurants that help you in that way? And better yet, if there are any restaurants who hear this, how do they get a hold of you to help you do that? Because that is a whole hell of a lot of stress off you, my friend.
Absolutely. And honestly, I didn't really think about that until you mentioned that the first time, about, having a restaurant. Because in my eyes, I'm like, I'm gonna make sure I get it done. So I was the one doing it all, but it makes more sense if you're going to get to that bigger number that I want to get to. You can use the help of these, big restaurants or whatever the case is, to be able to, hey, we want to help you out. We can do this and that and the third. So that would be, a lot of stress, cooking that much more, off your back. So that would be great. So like I said, here in the next, I'll be able to have more information to where they can go and be able to support line in the next, I would say next few weeks. I'm gonna get that up and running. I got to contact the state again tomorrow to find out where my status is for that, and then be able to go from there. So I'll be able to streamline that too.
Well, I'd like to make sure that I throw this out right away and offer our assistance if there's anything that we can do. Obviously, we're going to be doing the fundraiser throughout this month, but then this fundraiser, because you're involved right now, as Stephanie will be telling us a little bit later on, you're involved whenever people can order wine and support you. But
Right.
we'd also like to help you out through Community Pay Up Forward and maybe help you raise some money, finding
Right.
out if we can also help you make some partnerships with restaurants and stuff, because,
Right.
you know, what you're doing with Chef for Vets is so important, you know, because look, the holidays are the holidays, and I don't care if
Right.
you celebrate Christmas or not. It's
Right.
always nice to get a hot meal, you know. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
and you know, and I know that there's a lot of pushback every once in a while, and I just think that's a little ridiculous.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about Top Tier Sports Group. And I know this one's important to you because you told us before that athletics were one way that it helps keep you out of trouble when you were
Right.
younger.
Absolutely. So this got started back during COVID, because me and a partner of mine, we were coaching together, and we were kind of talking about, how we can help some of these kids uh, get from one level to the next and kind of streamline keeping their head in the right place. So we started Top Tier Sports Group, and for that first year, we started training kids that really couldn't afford it, that we knew we couldn't afford it. And it's not just for the kids that can't afford it; it is for all the kids, essentially, that we deal with in this area. But mainly, those are the kids that we wanted to target because we know that they wouldn't get this opportunity in other places. So we started training them, and at the end of the training, what we did was we compiled a team together, and then we took them down to different tournaments to play. So we traveled. So we went to Atlantic City, New Jersey. We took them down to Virginia. So we definitely had, a different thing there. So they that really locked in a really big community that we have right now with these kids. So those kids, that was about 3 years ago, and now that these kids are now in high school, so now they're freshmen in high school, ending up their freshman year, and I just we had a training session yesterday for some of these kids, and um, it's so good to see them and how they grew so far, and and it's keeping them out. Like I said, it's keeping them out of trouble because it's very easy nowadays for these kids to just go the wrong way. And we actually just sponsored a kid to go to 6 different football camps to be in front of colleges. So he's like, this is great. I get to talk to these scouts and all this stuff. So, and I'm talking about big schools. So they went to like Syracuse. They was at Maryland. They're going to UPenn this weekend. So it's very good, and it's very good feedback from them. Very good feedback from the parents. And it felt good to be able to sponsor that. And he actually text me the other day saying happy birthday, saying, I appreciate everything you've done for me, and that felt good. You know what I mean? To be able to play that part in these kids' lives, and the main reason I also wanted to do this is because I didn't have this growing up, and a lot of athletes, it's a shame to say, but a lot of athletes don't have that father figure in their lives. They have the athletic ability, but they don't have the father in their life, or they don't have the academics in their life. So, when we were growing up, we didn't have somebody to set us to the side and be able to help us, and then therefore a lot of talent went down the drain. So what I want to do is make sure every kid that we come across through our organization will have the opportunity, whether it be, for academics, whatever the case may be. And you not only build a relationship with these kids, but you build a relationship with their parents. We had a parent reach out the other day, like, hey, listen, me and my son aren't seeing eye to eye. We're having issues. I know he looks up to you guys. Can you guys have a conversation with him? So it's more than just football. You know what I mean? Like, in football, it's all about life. You know what I mean? Like, we treat them as grown men and where they're going, and we're starting younger too. We just got a younger kids that we just started. They're 10 years old now. So we're going to work with them all the way up as far as they want to deal with it. So it's just going to be a continued recyclement of these kids and trying to help them out.
One of the things about athletes, the kids are, look, every kid dreams about being, playing on Sunday.
Yep.
Every kid dreams about, playing in Yankee Stadium. Every kid dreams about, all these other things. But the truth is that there's so very few of them do play there.
Right.
But the most important thing is that you're giving them a chance to try.
Right.
You're giving them a chance to get out there and actually do something, because
Right.
nobody's ever made it if they didn't have the chance.
Right.
There's no one who's ever made it if they didn't have the chance to do it.
Right.
And just on a personal note, I loved that when you started talking to this, man. I love seeing how much your face lit up. You were so, you started talking about some of these kids going to these other
Right.
schools. Brother, man,
Right.
your face just lit up like, like these were your own kids,
Right.
it was
Right.
really cool seeing that.
Right. Yeah.
So what is the first thing that you tell a kid when they come to you?
Well, what I first do, you ask them like, what do you want to do? Do you like football like this much? And I see a lot of potential in you. Do you want to get better? Like that's my main thing. Do you want to get better? Yes, I do. All right, so let's go talk to mom and dad. We talk to the parents and we say, hey, listen, because right now we're doing training sessions. Um, every week, every Monday, we're out there on the field with these kids, and I told the parents, we don't want any money. We're not charging anything for these training sessions because we believe that training them is going to get them better, and that's all that's best. That's what's best for us. So we had this one kid, and he's a lineman, he's a little bigger kid, and we've been working for him for about, I would say 8-9 weeks now. And this past weekend, we had a game on Sunday, a little flag game, and the other coach comes up to me. He's like, who is this kid? He's out here moving all crazy, and it's like, yeah, we've been training him, like it feels good to see him grow, and his parents told us, like, I see it different the way he's walking out here, he's walking different. We're like, yeah, that's our guy, you know what I mean? Because we see it, as a coach, if you're dialed in, you see the potential, you see it, and they all have it. Like each kid has the same opportunity to get better, but there's just some kids that have more of a passion for it as anything else that you're doing, that that they're gonna love it more than others. So, you just try to angle that, you know what I mean, and try to say, hey, listen, let me help you get to the next level. Let me help you get better because we can't have any talent go to waste. No talent go to waste over here. So that's our motto over here. We're gonna have every talent get proven to the point.
Is the next level for you high school? Is that
Correct.
okay?
That's
Yeah.
the ultimate next level, but there's little levels in between that right here on the youth level, because they may be just a regular player here who may just get a couple plays here and there. So my goal now is to have your coach say, we can't take this guy out the game. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole different aspect. Like we need this guy to be the guy because that'll translate once they get to the high school level, and then so far and so forth. Like we're training our kids now who are in high school, so their next level is going to be college. So wherever that kid feels that their next level is going to be, we're going to get them there. Yeah, absolutely.
Academically, do you have people who work with these kids academically to try to
We
make sure that
have we have my other guy, my counterpart who helped me start this. He actually was a really good person who actually did the tutoring. So that option is always on the table. And being the position that I'm in right now, I can always have the opportunity to talk to, because I'm talking to the mayors of the town. I'm talking to the superintendent of schools. So I have the opportunity to always open up doors if we need help that we can't fulfill. Because what we're not going to do is put ourselves in the position that we're not able to help and then act like we can, because you're causing more hurt than you are good. So what we do is, if I can't help you directly, let's say if it's a subject that we really don't deal with, then I'm gonna go find the means for you to get that extra help, because I'm not gonna sit here and fake it for you. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like if I ain't got it, I ain't got it. So we'll find whatever means we can to help these kids out.
yeah, that's I I I think you're you know I think you're doing so much more because it's not just one thing. Because one of the hardest things that it is to teach a kid is that life's not only one
Right.
thing.
Right.
Life is everything, and if you
Right.
don't, and if you throw it off balance,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a jumbled mess, and
Right.
you can never get caught up. So,
Right. Right.
um, you have and I like I said, I love the way that your face just lights up when you start talking about your kids.
Right.
What are some of the things that these donations can help with this?
Top tier has so much growth to go. Like we have such a big end game when it comes to this. Like eventually we want to have, our own facility to bring these kids to, because right now we just go to the local field or park or whatever the case may be. We have them going on the beach. We do whatever we got to do to train them. But, the end game is to have our own facility that we can actually call home and, have the kids be able to come near and be able to work out and do whatever they got to do there under our roof. So that's top tier's main goal, to actually get our own facility, our own sportsplex, and be that big and be able to generate that much. Because right where we live here in Jersey is very difficult when it comes to these townships. They don't want people just coming in on a field. You got to get permits, and then if you're not from the town, they're not giving you it. Like I said, we do a lot with our town that we're dealing with now, but there's a lot more kids that need help that's not in our area. So, we kind of got to be somewhat flexible with that, and it gets tough. It does get tough. Or they're charging you. One time we were paying, $300 for 30 minutes, to be on this football field just to train these kids. So, like, one time we was inside a cheer gym. We're like, hey, we can use a cheer gym, whatever we need to do, whatever we got to do to help, we do it. So, any part of that will help us grow into that part of where we're trying to get to.
Have you ever, and this is asking you, this is probably an unfair question to ask you, but have you ever sat there and thought to yourself, people are wanting us to do something with these kids, but when it comes time to it, they shut down. It's like, what?
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
you can't have our field. No. What are
Absolutely.
you, crazy?
Absolutely. And it becomes it's a very good question in my head, like, when you come to some of these towns. And the good thing is that the township I'm dealing with right now locally, I'm actually a president of that organization. So it's a lot easier when it comes to say, hey, can we use your field or whatever the case may be. But there's still a lot of rules and regulations that you got to abide by when it comes to that. Like, you got to, you got to go around their schedule and everything like that, which is rightfully so. I get it. But going back to what you just said, yes, I do think of that sometimes. Like, we're doing this for the youth. If the youth was out here just getting in trouble and getting locked up, we'll be sitting here talking about them in a bad way. But why not provide something so they don't have to go that route? And so that's definitely crossed my mind a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that, again, Tyreek, I think, honest to God, I think it's one of those things that, look, you got to weigh it. Do you want the kids to be doing something,
Right.
staying out of trouble? You got to give up a little bit of something, nothing. Right. Look, life doesn't come for free. It never does.
Right.
But, I mean, you can sure as hell help it along by being a good steward.
Right.
And helping them out. Stephanie, what you got for this? Because I know that your kids, you were also a coach and very much into athletics.
Yeah, well, in a totally different way. It was definitely not football, but what I wanted to say was,
I could see you knocking the hell out of a quarterback.
Maybe being this pregnant, Zach, that might happen. Maybe. No, well, I grew up having really great coaches with gymnastics and cheerleading and like really competitive and all of that stuff. And truly, it did keep me out of trouble growing up because we were so busy practicing that there wasn't time for that other stuff.
Right.
And coaches that I still till today as an adult look up to, so you are playing such a huge role, on an athletic level, on a personal level. Like, you're molding these kids into like great human beings. It's not just the sport itself. Like, I look back now and I'm like, man, like, thanks for providing that space for me and my friends to go and be able to, practice together and do all that, and I'm sure that you see, Tyreek, a difference in them, in their self-confidence, in their attitude, their demeanor, maybe their family life is improved, all across the board. Because when you're doing something you love and excelling in it and feeling good about it, I feel like it adjusts the other areas of your life too, like academics. So, do you have any comments to that at all?
No, that's definitely, you couldn't have said it any better, and that's 100% accurate. So, as much as we can help, we're going to help on every single level, whatever we have to do. We're here to do that. So, yeah, I couldn't have said it any better than you just said it.
I love that, though. Keep doing what you're doing. let that group keep growing.
Yep.
And you're right. I think, do you want to mention what areas in New Jersey that you're kind of looking at, or townships or anything?
Yeah,
In
right
case
now we're
somebody's
kind of in
listening
the
that
yeah,
might
we're
have a
kind of
connection.
yeah, so we're actually in primarily in the Jersey Shore. I coach in Keyport. I'm the president over there of the organization, local organization over there. Um, so we stuck with that area because obviously those are the kids that we're coaching directly, but it's open to all. And I got friends that coach still in South River, so they're still in Central Jersey area. So it's still, we connect. So my board for top tier, we're kind of spread out a little bit between us coaches. So we got about 8, 9 coaches, and we spread out throughout all different type of organizations. So then we could have more reach throughout different organizations. And people get, and then rightfully so, people get a little funny with, hey, who's my kid going to see and all that, which they should. But so that's why we have our guys in different organizations. So then, they get familiar with these coaches and they say, hey, listen, we got some extra training. We got this. You can come on down. And then they come on, and then, we go from there.
You guys, are you guys being affected pretty heavy by all the smoke? I saw New York City was just covered
Oh, yeah,
in smoke.
absolutely. Right now, like, actually, one of the kids texted me today. He's like, Coach, you see this? I said, yep, stay in the house. We ain't doing nothing today. So enjoy that next couple of days off. I'll see you next week. So it's definitely, honestly, it reminded me of Iraq. Like, when I saw, like, orange skies, I'm like, wow, this is bringing me straight back to overseas. And I'm like, I'm not going outside. I'm just going to
Yeah.
stay right here, definitely.
Well, all it did was remind me of about, I'm going to say maybe 10 years ago. There was a fire that started right outside of Fort Collins, and it just engulfed our whole area in smoke
Wow.
to where you couldn't walk outside without your lungs hurting. And,
Yep.
it was just, and it was terrible to breathe. We were having people have terrible, terrible asthma attacks. And it was just, so yeah, I saw that on the news, and I was, like, I feel for everyone because of that. And, first I saw was in New York City, and I was just thinking, well, that's what you get. But, that's the Devils fan coming out. That's the Jersey Devils fan coming out. So, hey, let me ask you this real quick, because I know New Jersey Devils do have programs and that, and I know a lot of it does have stuff to do with hockey, but PK Subban was a huge influence when it came to young athletes, and especially young African American athletes there. They've got a Buy Black program where a handicapped veteran during every road game this year, they wore their logo on the side of their helmets on every road game. They do a lot of stuff for kids that are struggling a little bit. Have you reached out to them at all? Have you?
No, I have not. Mm-mm.
And so, and I don't, and this is, this is just me being
Right.
the fanatical. I am a fan of them, but I mean, maybe that's something that, I don't know if they would help with football, but I would imagine they would, because
Right.
they do. And like I said, PK Subban, where he spent the last 3 years of his career with the Devils, he wasn't the same player, but by God, I would do anything to see that man wearing a sweater again, because he was so good in the community.
Right.
And what are you hoping that these kids, what is the lasting image you want to leave with these kids?
So the one thing I want to leave with the kids is that, you know what, they became a better person and a better athlete, due to our hard work and dedication that we actually give them, and at the end of the day, I know, if you put in time and work, it's going to happen, because that's the result of hard work and time. So, us, I've seen the gratification, me and my VP were talking, and, just seeing these kids just, talk about where they've been and where they're come, their journey that they've been, the few years that we've been with them, is the gratification that we need. So we know that it works. So I don't believe in my heart of hearts they're ever going to forget that. They're not going to forget that, you know, Coach Ty and Coach T kind of drove us down here and they took care of us and they did all this stuff and they made it happen for us. Awesome. Whatever we got to do to make it so, you'll always remember this. You'll always remember these good ethics, when they go back. And someday, one of these kids is going to make it to the league, and they're going to come back. And one day they're going to mention Top Tier Sports Group. That would be awesome. You know what I mean? So that will be a very, very good thing for us. Like, hey, listen, we're working with them. We knew what it was. So it's very good. It's very, very good for that. And like, and I'll tell you this, my VP, his daughter actually played on our football team, and she was actually one of the captains on our team, and she was phenomenal. And she actually did powerlifting. She went and did powerlifting as an eighth grader, and she's got world records, So, and she's repping the Top Tier Sports Group. You know what I mean? So it's like a very good energy of the stuff that we can do. And I feel like when you talk about Top Tier Sports Group, we're not just here for just football. Like if somebody came to us like, hey, listen, I got this basketball, I got you. Any sport I've done that I can help you out with, I'm gonna help you out with. Hey, some point in time, hey, we may have a cheerleading squad. I may have to call Stephanie up like, hey, listen, we're gonna need some cheer coaches over here. You know what I mean? We're going to do these camps. We'll come up there to PA, West Virginia, wherever you're at. We'll come there too. So that we're not just limited to there. That's why we added to the sports group, because it's going to be all sports combined at some point or another. We're not just going to stick to just football. That's just what we started at right now.
Well, you know what? As soon as you guys have a sport where a guy can sit around and be a button monkey and get as fat as he can, eating a bunch of ice cream, you give me a call, all right? Because I'll come and help you out. Hey, what about the parents, Tyreek? What is the interaction with the parents? Do the parents kind of see you as like, oh my God, thank you? What are some of the best responses you've got from parents?
Yeah, I mean, just here in the last couple of weeks, like I said, when parents call you before they call their loved ones based upon decisions that they want to make for their kids, and coaches reached out to them, so they want to reach out to you first. To me, that says it all. That's the loyalty right there. It's hard to find that. So when you actually get that loyalty button, it feels so awesome. Like it's almost like a best friend relationship that we have with these parents, and that we've grown. Like these parents trusted us to take their kids down to Virginia without them. Like that's how confident they were. Go ahead, have a good time. We'll see you guys when you guys get back, or we're driving down the next day. We'll see you down there. We had one kid. He played with us previously. He couldn't play for that because of his thumb injury. So he was going to have surgery, and his mom and dad was like, yeah, he can go down. He'll be an assistant coach. So we had him do like a player coach option. So it's like, it's a very good relationship we have with these parents. And I feel like that's the best thing that you can have, because number one, because of my military background, I'm real straight up with mine. I coach, I teach everything from a discipline standpoint. And that's not just to the kids, it's to the parents too, because they play a vital role in their kids. Like the kids are not driving themselves to practice. So come on, mom, dad, you better have them here on time because I'm here on time. So you got to have that relationship to where you can be brutally honest and tell them. And then rightfully so, it's a two-way street. If you feel me as a coach didn't do something right or wrong or whatever the case is, you need to come talk to me, come talk to me. None of my parents have any issues with contacting me about anything that we've done with their kids, or, hey, something they want to do differently or whatever the case is. They all know we feel academics are first. So if they tell us, hey, little Jeff has been messing up in class, guess what? You can't come to practice. And when you do, you're going to pay for all that stuff you messed up with. So we have a real strict policy when it comes to things like that. So the parents really have that relationship with us.
Have you ever had to tell a parent, look, enough, stop, you need to behave. Your kid is working his ass off. You need to behave now.
Nope.
You haven't. That's fantastic.
Nope.
That's so much pressure goes on some of these kids.
Right.
Hey, my kid can throw a football. Now I'm going to treat him like a superstar he should want to be.
Right.
The kid wants to be a kid first.
Right.
And
right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
let him be a damn kid.
Right.
That's one of the things that drives me crazy. Stephanie,
Right.
did you have any more, anything else?
No, just piggybacking on what you just said, Zach. Like, what I love that Tyreek said was that he connects with the child and says, "What do you want out of this?" And that's individualized to each kid in his
Right.
program. So
Right.
I absolutely love that. I think that your approach is great. I think you're doing great things. And
Thank you.
I just can't wait to see this grow even more from here.
Oh, me neither. And I appreciate that. And listen, I definitely want to get more information on you guys too, because you know, we had a conversation and everything, and we also help out people too. So we'd always pay it forward to you guys as well, and be able to support whenever we can. We've done it for other organizations as well. So definitely, because Stephanie, I know a whole bunch of wine drinkers. Like you just let me know like what the deal is, how they do it, and everything else. And we'll start getting people to come over. Everyone's a wine connoisseur when they come over to my house. You know what I mean? So, I'm more of a bourbon guy, but they're more wine connoisseurs. So, like, we sit there and talk all this different stuff. So, just let me know what it is, and like I said, we can always pay it forward from our end as well.
People aren't wine connoisseurs when they come over here. They're just wine what you got. That's exactly what they are when they come to my house. Wine what you got. So,
Right.
hey, Tyreek, brother, beautiful, man. I can't. You're amazing. You
I appreciate
really
it.
are. Your passion, your drive, your stories. Just
Right.
everything. You're amazing to listen to, and I wish you nothing but the best in the world.
I
And
appreciate it.
I'm hoping that we get to stick around and hear a lot more of your story, and watch you grow, and watch
Right.
these programs go,
Right.
and support you in every way we possibly can.
I
So
appreciate it. Anything you guys need, just let me know. Stephanie, I appreciate you reaching out from the rep. Because you never know what doors may open. So I really appreciate that. You never know who's listening or who's watching or whatever the case may be. So to be able to be able to sit here and to talk about the things that we've been working hard on, and you sit back and you're like, wow, it's been this long that we've really been digging deep in these trenches. So I appreciate that. It could be anything or whatever the case may be, whether if it's any donation helps us. You know what I mean? $5, $10 is more than what we had. So, we appreciate. We're not the type to be like unappreciative or anything like that. Like that's why I haven't reached out to really anybody, because we typically try to dig it all ourselves. We try to fundraise within our own organization and use that money right back into these kids. So I really wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And, I talked to my VP and he's very on board with me. We're very in tune with each other. So, we appreciate everything for this and anything that could benefit for it, or just reaching more people, reaching more kids, whatever the case may be, like whatever that may be. We just want to thank you for it. Thank you for the platform.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And you guys heard it, a couple dollars goes a long way for these
Right.
kids. You want to
Right.
sponsor a child with their program or
Right.
sponsor a child to go to more colleges,
Right.
reach out to Tyreek. It's a great way to kind of
Right.
give back into the youth.
Right. Appreciate
look,
it.
the facts are $22,000 is a great donation, but so is $22. I
Absolutely.
mean, it
Absolutely.
truly is. Every penny, every penny is a penny that they didn't have before, and
Right.
give
Right.
when you can. And I mean, we know times are tough. We all do.
Right. Absolutely.
Times are tough for every single one of us out here.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, so how did they get a hold of you, my friend?
However they want. I have a phone number, I have an email, we have social media. For however, whatever you want me to give you, I'll give you. So for Top Tier, we have Top Tier Sports Group that's on Facebook. Also on Instagram as that Top Tier Sports Group. We have a little renegade little logo there. Top Tier Sports Group at hotmail.com is our email. My personal email is rickrobinson2010 at hotmail.com. And phone number 732-875-2948. Anything anybody want to do to reach me, they are more than welcome to do so.
Well, we're going to be looking and watching to see what you got going on.
Right.
and we're going to be following up. I invite you to go on ahead and stick around if you have the time and listen to Stephanie do her stuff, and you can ask any questions that you have of her, because
Absolutely.
it is time for the goddess of the grape to take over the show and do what she does best, and that's talk about the wonderful wines. Stephanie, you're
please
up.
do.
Oh, I'm excited because I actually really wanted to highlight the dads tonight, and I have 2 dads with me. So really, really exciting. If you're watching for the very first time, my name is Stephanie Simoes. I am a cause entrepreneur with One Hope Wine. We are a cause-centered winery out of Napa Valley. So what that means is every single bottle of wine that we sell gives back to make an impact. In fact, every bottle actually gives back twice. Once to the organization of your choice, which of course tonight is either Chef for Vets or Top Tier Sports Group. Zach has the QR code right on the screen there. So all you have to do is take your phone camera out, hold it up to the QR code of your choice. The top one is Chef for Vets. The bottom one is for Top Tier Sports Group. It will take you directly to the fundraising page where every purchase is going to give back to that organization to support everything that Tyreek is doing with these kids, with feeding these veterans, all the things that you just heard. If you are on a browser and you would rather type it in, right underneath the QR code, onehopewine.com/event/ and then each one has a 6-digit unique code that will take you right to the fundraising page. And like I said, every single bottle gives back. Father's Day is around the corner, so I can't wait to talk about that. So let's dive in, if you don't mind. Let's jump right to it.
This where you wanted to start, or did you want to start on the other end?
No, I think we're good there. Nope, we're good there.
Right.
Thank you, Zach. You're awesome. Nope. So what, and I know that this is the first time I think Tyreek is hearing about One Hope Wine. So I'll kind of do the quick run through and an overview of who we are. So like I said, we're out of Napa Valley. We have some of the most incredible winemakers in the industry: Robert Mondavi Jr., Mari Wells Coyle. If you're a wine drinker or a wine connoisseur, like Tyreek was mentioning earlier, you may be familiar with their names. Our head winemaker actually came over from Sterling Vineyards because she really believed in the mission with One Hope. To date, as a company, not just me, Zach, we have donated over $9.7 million to date, locally and globally, to over 42,000 different nonprofit organizations. Nice. So really proud of that. We are a private wine label, so our winemakers do make our wine. In case you had that question, we do not source from other companies. Our winemakers do source the grapes, or they're grown on our property in Napa, and they make our wine. And it is certified organic, actually. Something we've been working on for a really long time, but we have that paperwork, so it's official now. And it's really simple. You get the wine delivered to your door in 3 to 5 business days when you support the cause of your choice. Literally, across the U.S., 3 to 5 business days, you'll have the wine, and you're donating to your favorite charity at the same time. So that's what I love about this, is the give back. All right, so let's sip and make a big impact for these 2 organizations tonight, and let's talk about Father's Day. So there are plenty of reasons why dads are the best. They give great advice, they always have your back, and they tell the best stories and the best dad jokes, of course, right? Both of you guys are dads. Tyreek has a new baby boy at home, as we mentioned before. So I just thought that this would be such a great topic for tonight, with Father's Day right around the corner. So we're celebrating dads tonight and highlighting some really great Father's Day suggestions. Okay, so what you have up on the screen there is the Arroyo Seco Chardonnay, and this one is for the outdoor relaxing dad. What's better than a cold beer outside? I'm going to look at Zach for this one. A cold glass of our Arroyo Seco Chardonnay. This complex and unique wine is filled with flavors of lemon, pineapple, sweet cream, and vanilla. It's delicious with sage butter halibut, toasted nuts, and roasted sweet potato. And perfect for alfresco Father's Day dinners on the patio. Now I have a chef listening to this show here, so I better be on my game with these food pairings here.
Yeah, you got a chef and a fat guy, so now you're really in trouble. Stephanie, is this listed as a white wine or is it a? I mean, obviously it's not a red, but it looks. It doesn't look white either. Is that just a coloring, or is that?
It's a white wine. It's a Chardonnay, but I find that this one tends to be a little bit more creamy. You know, it's not a super light white wine. It is a reserve Chardonnay, so it's going to be a little bit more medium bodied. But it is white. It's not red. It's not a rosé. It is a white wine. So that is the Chardonnay. Next up would be our Vintner Collection Cabernet Sauvignon.
Peanut butter cookies
is a perfect pairing with cookies. Yes, it is delicious with cookies. But it is the perfect pairing for the backyard barbecuing dad, if you have one of those. So our Vintner Collection Cabernet Sauvignon features a big mouthful of dark berries and toffee with an echo of vanilla. So if your dad is one who enjoys a delicious steak on his special day, this one is the ideal pairing. So, you know, what does dad like to eat on his special day? Really depends, right? So we have a few different wines in the lineup to try to help guide you along your way as you're looking for Father's Day gifts.
This dad likes the peanut butter cookies, so I'm in.
Love it. I love it. Next up is our Napa Valley Merlot for the culinary pairing dad. This one is a reserve. This might be Tyreek right here. Mm-hmm. Not sure. We'll see. All right. So our Napa Valley Reserve Merlot is a bold wine with juicy baked blueberries and roasted coffee notes. The tannins are velvety and supple, melting in your mouth and leaving hints of bittersweet chocolate on the finish. If dad loves an elevated meal for his big day, this wine promises an elegant pairing for chicken and light meats, as well as lightly spiced dark meats. So that one is our Napa Valley Reserve Merlot for that culinary pairing. You guys should be enjoying a glass as we're going through this. My goodness. Okay. All right. So we have next up is our Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, which is a reserve. This is for the dessert night in dad. I don't know. Maybe that's Zach. You keep going to the cookies and the desserts, Zach. I'm not sure.
I don't know. We both like dessert. I don't know.
I'm sensing a theme. Anytime desserts get mentioned, Zach gets mentioned. Yeah.
So this one has aromas of forest berries meet wild violets in our richly textured, full-bodied Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. I suggest opening up this bottle and letting it air out a bit before sipping so that you get all of the flavors out of it. Let it breathe for a little bit. This one is boasting chocolate nuances and decadence in every sip. This balanced wine is sensational when paired with candied walnuts and blue cheese, rosemary cheese bread, prime rib, and especially red wine cake for the dessert-loving dad. So
I love
cake
prime
in there
rib
for you too.
I love prime rib too, man. Prime rib too.
I love me prime rib too. Stephanie, real quick.
Yeah.
Why do you let wine breathe?
So reserves age longer. Okay. And this is me as like not a wine connoisseur. I am not an expert at all. I'm just a mom that enjoys wine. It's been a while since I've been able to enjoy wine because I'm so pregnant. But this is my answer. The reserves, they process longer. They're bottled up longer. They need to kind of breathe so that they open up and you taste all the flavors, you know, versus a bottle that is not as well aged. You can kind of open it up and start sipping, you know. But with a reserve, give it a couple of minutes, swirl it around in your glass. You're going to notice that as the time goes on a little bit, it will taste different as it kind of opens up to the air and I don't know if oxidizes is the word, but that's kind of where I'm going with it. Once it opens up to the air, it's going to taste a little bit different once you give it some time out of the bottle with the cork off.
Yeah, so literally you're breathing a lot, like a breath of fresh air into it almost is kind of what you're saying, is you're really letting it breathe you know, life-saving air.
And I would suggest that for any reserve bottle, really, you know, you don't have to go fancy with a decanter or anything, but like pour a little in your glass, swirl it around a little bit before you sip. Like let it just breathe a little bit. You'll enjoy it more.
Right.
Sounds great. And I remember these from last year.
Yes. So I love this one. This is our pizza night gift set for the pizza loving pops. Kick Dad's pizza night up a notch with our pizza night gift set. Whether he's crafting pizza for a Friday night with friends or a date night in with mom, we have him covered. Just add his favorite bottle of One Hope wine and let the pizza party ensue. This set includes artisan salt, pizza dough, pizza sauce, and a recipe card. What I love about this is that you can really customize and pair it with any wine. You know, if Dad likes a meat lover's pie, I would go with a red. You know, if you want like a veggie, go with a white, or maybe just a cheese pizza. You know, you can. I with just cheese, I'd probably lean towards a white or a light rosé, but I love that you can kind of customize our gift sets and pair them with any wine that you think Dad will love.
Well, if you're going to go with a veggie pizza, you need to go next door because Dad does love the meat lovers pizzas.
And our last gift set that we're going to highlight here is the artisan gift set for the fine wine father. Like a fine wine, this artisan gift set is the perfect way to treat your dad to something special. He'll love opening a bag of artisan chips, slicing the salami, dipping into the tapenade, and uncorking a bottle of One Hope wine. And again, you can pair any One Hope wine with this. This gift set includes the jalapeno, Monterey Jack cheese, a mini serving spoon, the olive tapenade, rustic artisan chips, and salami. I don't know about you, but I love any kind of charcuterie board. Give me all of the mozzarella cheese and the olives and all the meats.
That jalapeno cheese, mozzarella or no?
It's Monterey Jack cheese. I was just saying I love every kind of charcuterie board. Just give me all of the picking food with the wine.
Yeah, that jalapeno jack cheese, that sounds really good. I love inside the box where it says you are changing the world, and that's a good way of explaining what One Hope is. So,
and last but certainly not least, the Wine Club gift card for the wine connoisseur dad. So we have One Hope Wine digital gift cards, and they're the perfect gift for Father's Day. You can personalize your gift card with a gift note for a great gift that can be used towards any of our wines, any wine gift boxes and crates that give back to make a measurable impact. So some details about the gift cards that you may not know. Gift cards may be purchased at any value between $25 and $2,000. One Hope gift cards never expire, and they carry absolutely no fees. They're available for immediate delivery via email, so electronically, or what I love is that you can actually schedule them to be delivered by a certain date. You know, if there's a special occasion and you're like, oh, you know what? Let me just do this now, have it delivered for Father's Day. You can set it up in the system that way when you place your order, that it will be electronically delivered for Father's Day.
Right.
And that could be scheduled up to a year in advance, actually. So not just talking about Father's Day, but, you know, going forward past this month, up to a year in advance, you can have them scheduled out.
Wow, that's amazing. And they can only be bought through One Hope Wine, right?
Yeah. So definitely use one of those links that we shared earlier, whichever one you'd like to support, whichever organization. And right through there, you can select the gift card options. We also have a Wine Club gift card option. So you can purchase a wine club gift card for dad, and he can choose his favorites. That this is another option now with the gift cards. You can select 4, 6, or 12 bottles every 3 months for the curated packs, which means our head winemaker selects those picks for the season. And you typically get a mixture of different collections in the curated pack, whatever seasonal picks that she's choosing to highlight. Or you can go every 1, 2, or 3 months when you want to build your own box. And plus, 10% of every shipment that goes out every time is supporting the cause of your choice. So if you select, let's say, Chef for Vets tonight, and you're like, I want to support Tyreek going forward with all these things. Every time I order wine, this is where I want to support. You just set that as your preference in your back office. Anytime that you order wine or send a gift to someone, you're giving back to his organization. So it's really, really awesome. I'm a wine club member myself, and I love sending gifts that way because you get all the perks and the free shipping. So,
and you can find out all of this information by going to Stephanie's Linktree, Linktree/Steph Simoes. So, great job again. I just so much that you can do, and so much good that you get to do with it. And that's one of the most important things, is that there's so much importance that, I love the fact that there's, 2 separate organizations are getting benefits with every bottle of wine. I mean,
yeah. So through the One Hope Foundation, the main giving pillars are for clean water, ending hunger, health, and education initiatives. And through that, we're able to do all kinds of things, offer special needs grants. We did for special needs kids, over the pandemic when they weren't being offered services when schools were shut down, right? So we did special needs grants for a couple of years, but we do have the ability to kind of, if there's a crisis and they want to partner with an organization, boots on the ground, in a crisis, they can take that money and kind of go and put it where it's needed. But there are cause partners that we do support year round, like Charity Water, that's drilling water in parts of the world that don't have access to clean water in these communities. Mm-hmm. So it's really incredible that you can open a bottle of bubbly and say, hey, I'm supporting Tyreek and this incredible, foundation all at the same time.
And you're looking now at the Community Pay It Forward One Hope fundraiser. Just go to Facebook and you can find this. And if you come, you just scroll down this and you can see exactly how active Stephanie is with this. You can see the pizza pack here. You can see all of the slides that we went through. Whoa, that's a lot of pancakes.
That was a breakfast board that we did over the weekend. Yeah, that was awesome.
I see blueberries. I'm a happy guy. So
if you're having trouble finding that Facebook page, though, if you go to my Linktree, it is the first link right on top. You can click that, get right to our Facebook group there, and be able to follow along as we highlight different organizations each month. But cheers to all of the strong, supportive fathers and father figures that are out there. We're lucky to have you. And cheers to these 2 dads that I'm with here making an impact in the world with me. Thank you guys for tonight. And I'm glad we got to highlight you.
Yes. Again, Tyreek, great job, my friend. Great job. I look forward to talking to you in about 2 weeks to see, what else has happened. Hopefully the smoke will have cleared and you guys will be able to get out and train a little bit more. And let's work on maybe trying to get some kitchens in your area to help you out with food this Thanksgiving. Right. I think it's a great way to get them involved. But Stephanie, as always, thank you. You are looking for someone to help spread the wealth. You are looking for people to help you raise that $9.7 million.
There are so many ways that people can help, whether you're just shopping, whether you're watching this and you're like, man, I want to help support Tyreek and I want to host something, connect with us. You can host an event and fundraise for him. So, there's always shopping, there's always hosting, but I do this year round because I love that we have this platform and ability to be able to send out donation checks every single month for really important causes. And you get to choose where you want your donation to go and that's what I love the most. So,
turn your next wine party into something special with your friends.
Yep.
Right.
You know, you can really make a huge difference and have one hell of a time doing it. So, but
thank you.
Well, to both of you guys,
thank
you so very much. Tyreek, again, wonderful job, brother. You
Thank you, guys.
Natural at this, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm gonna definitely put that information onto our group. Stephanie, I don't think you're a part of it, but I'll add you to it. And you too, Zach, if you're on Facebook, so you guys can see the traffic that goes back and forth on our pages. Also, how long have One Hope been doing this? How long you guys been doing this?
It's actually our birthday month, and we're turning 16 this month. But what I do with direct to your door has been around about half that time. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, maybe even a little less than half of that amount of time. Okay. So we do have the winery in Napa, but now we're able to make an impact across the whole United States and give back, that way too.
And at 23, Stephanie's been around for busting ass for better than anybody.
Keep it up, guys. Keep it going.
Well, again, Tyree, thank you very much. Stephanie, please take care of yourself and your family. And you guys will both be receiving this show at the end. That way you guys can share it out. But if there's anything I can do for either one of you guys, please reach out. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. And cheers.
What a look. Stephanie always amazes me. She really does. She is very, very pregnant, guys. I mean, we're talking within a little over 2 weeks, she's going to have another mouth to feed. Okay. And she told me day one, I'm working till this kid comes out. And I'm like, you're brave. You're brave. And I just look all the people in the world, I couldn't imagine being without her. I mean, she's a great friend. She's just a wonderful person, and I trust her with my life, and I thank her for everything that she does for me personally. So she is a true blue friend, and for a little over a year now, I've been very lucky to have her as my partner on these, and we don't look like we're going to slow down anytime soon. So. Tyreek, I can't say enough about that. Come on. From mental health issue to just a beacon of light for so many veterans and kids. Those are two groups that it's hard to please them sometimes. You're doing both of them at once? My applause to you, my friend. I think you do great. So we're gonna come right back here in just a minute. I'm gonna be right back after I would say pay bills, but show off some of my friends, and then we're gonna listen to a real quick interview with the owner and the founder of Auxilia.
Attention business owners, this is your captain speaking. Fasten your seatbelts as we prepare your business to take off. Hi, I'm Joe, your captain of online reviews. Give me a thumbs up if your reputation is important to your business success. Excellent, thank you, and welcome on board. Today, online reviews tell your prospects about the quality of services that you provide. As a matter of fact, online reviews are the new word-of-mouth advertising, so if you don't have a flight plan in place to get 5-star reviews, your reputation could be hijacked by one bad review, crashing your business. So what we do is we put you in the cockpit with our automation called Give Me a Thumbs Up. Our technology can actually predict whether your clients will write a good review or a bad review before we even ask them. So if you'd like to learn more about this technology, book your flight with Captain Joe today so that tomorrow you can sit back, relax, and watch your 5-star business take off.
Okay, so what's going on with my sharing of screens? Well, I don't know. If I knew, it would be working. Wow, look at my mouse kind of tweaking out on me. Are you going to work? Here we go. Hey everyone, it's Zach Clayton. I'm here with a really great friend of mine, Steve Palick. He's been helping us for about 2 years ago is when we first met, right, Steve?
That's correct, Zach. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you. And Steve is one of the busiest guys I know. And great thing is, I love it because you're in Denver. Steve, you created Auxilia. How did that process go?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know the story about me. I lost my brother a really long time ago to a rare disease, and one of the things, and always listening to my mom and dad about losing their son, that resonated with me is how community actually helped support my mom and dad back in the day. And instead of really wanting to honor my brother with a foundation in his name, I wanted to actually pull some people that I love and trust and respect, my partners here at Auxilia, create an organization that was giving back to all small and medium-sized nonprofit, community-driven nonprofits, and that to me was the best way to to really remember my brother and to support what I can do from a community perspective. It's been very difficult. It was a hard thing to create the company. You think you know what you're doing, and you just got to continue to make mistakes and try not to make the same mistakes time and time and again.
Yeah, that is I love the way that you said that because I've told everybody a long time. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I told you this that the first 5 years of the business, I tried to screw the company up as every way I could just to make sure that I was doing it the right way, and so you had that growth period and you go from there. You have a wonderful, wonderful team throughout the country that really helps put everything together. Why don't you explain to us first what Auxilia is, and then give us the roles of the people throughout the country who everybody works with?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Zach. We are by definition, we're a donation management software company, but we're so much more than that. I think that when you look at the competition, and there's a lot of great companies doing a lot of great things for nonprofits, I'm always a fan of anyone trying to help a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between us and Auxilia and everybody else is, frankly, we see ourselves as a partner to our nonprofit clients. It's not just, hey, you bought our software, good luck, hope it works out for you. It's actually giving you two dedicated people, giving you live bodies to answer your questions, giving you fundraising strategy, giving you a blueprint to be successful. Every nonprofit's a little bit different, and I think the nuance that every nonprofit has is so critically important to us. Yeah, we are spread out. We are headquartered here in Denver, Colorado, the great state of Colorado, but we do have employees in California, Georgia, Ohio, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. The positions vary. I mean, again, we have sales, executive staff, and service here in Denver. We have a service office in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We do quite a bit for the Puerto Rican nonprofit community. We have some product and IT folks in Ohio. And then our fundraising strategists, our EDs, our former EDs, executive directors, one is in California and one is in Georgia. And it just works out great.
Yeah, I know that we personally work side by side with Jessica and with Ayana, and they're both, if there's ever any questions, all I have to do is call on them and ask them any questions. But it doesn't matter if it's them or anybody else. Anytime I call you guys, there's always somebody who's willing to take and step up and step out. I know I had a question once with the way that one of my emails was looking. I didn't really like the way that it was looking, and your office took it and they said, well, let me try to do something. They took it and 15 minutes later, I got it back and it was set up perfectly. It was set up exactly like I like it. So I really like that, and very easy to work with you yourself, very easy to work with. Plus you're just a great guy, and you like Dan Patrick. So, that's always something that I sit with. Auxilia not only do you guys keep donations in order, but you guys also help with, as you mentioned, putting together fundraising events and putting together email blasts. One of your email blasts is one of the things that I utilize every week.
Yeah, I think that again, a lot of nonprofits that are smaller are really cobbling it all together, and I get it. I understand it. You know, one of the things that I would tell your viewers and your listeners is simply this, right? Two of our partners, two of the founders of Auxilia, are former executive directors. They've walked a mile in or 1,000 miles in the shoes of executive directors, development directors. They've dealt with donors and grants and events, and most importantly, they've used a plethora of the software that's available to them. Well, again, as I said earlier, a lot of great companies doing a lot of great things, but at the end of the day, I don't really feel, and I'm biased because I'm the founder of Auxilia, but I really have not seen an organization put it all together as simplicity as we have. You know, simple, easy to use, but very intuitive, bringing back data points. So you're right. A lot of times what happens when we talk to a nonprofit, if they're using a competitor, they're still using 2 or 3 other programs like an Eventbrite to run their events or a MailChimp to do their email campaigns. Auxilia wanted to create something so simple to where if you want to do an email campaign, if you want to do social media, if you're running an event with tickets and registrations, you could do all of that through the Auxilia platform. I don't pretend to understand or know all the things that our competitors are doing. Again, great companies, great people. But it does appear that the modules and the technology that we've put together is much more simple and much more complete. We're one of the few, if not only, companies that allows you to post through social media directly through our site. That's a big deal for nonprofits. I hear this all the time, Zach. You know what, Steve, it's just me, or I have a couple of volunteers, or I have some part-time employees. I don't have the time. And so I use Excel to manage my donors. I use Eventbrite to manage my event. I use Hootsuite to manage my social media. Yep. I use MailChimp to manage my email. So if we can put a system together that is simple, and that puts all of those things, you can get rid of all of that and just do it with an Auxilia, then that's a win for everybody, right? I think I always say this. I have been blessed to have met so many wonderful people in the nonprofit community, right? These are the people, like, again, I lost my brother a long time ago to a rare disease. We do a lot with rare disease nonprofits. You know, the missions are amazing. And that of all these individuals, and like you, it's people that have huge hearts, right? They have huge hearts. They want to make a difference in the community. But a lot of times, Zach, these individuals that have huge hearts have not run a nonprofit before. Right. And that's not a bad thing. I don't say that in a derogatory sense at all. It's just like, if they can partner with a company that actually cares about them, that actually wants to see them succeed, then they're going to flourish, because their huge heart coupled with a software that's going to make them more efficient, get them organized, and then a team behind that that's going to support them and give them a blueprint to success. I don't know how they could go wrong.
Well, I know for me personally, one of the things that I've done everything from all of your competitors when it comes to like the email blast to the keeping up with your donors, to do everything. I'm just going to show everybody real quick. This is ours. This is our profile page here. And I mean, as you can see, you got everything right here. You got your donors listed to where you can take, and you have all of your contacts are right here. You take and you add a new one, and it asks you for everything about them. So everything that you got right there, including who's going to be working with them, what's their status with your company. I mean, it's such a great thing to where you can just keep track of who has donated to you, who's done what, and everything. You can create events. You can see 2 of the events that we've had right here. That we created the events on this platform, and it helps us keep track of any donations that have come in. It helps us keep track of what we're doing, who's responded, and everything. And then, of course, it gives you templates for your emails that you can send out emails or thank you cards right here, or a couple of them. that they suggest, or you can build your own. And you can see right here, I mean, this is getting behind our weekly email list. You guys can see it right here. Here's a preview of what you're going to see on Monday. So, we've been working on that. But I mean, you can do the events, you can do email blasts, any customization you need. And then, of course, you got your reports. And then, as Steve mentioned, you can attach all of your social medias to them so people know exactly what you're doing from all of your social media platforms. So it's just, Auxilia is so wonderful because, like you had said, I've worked with MailChimp, I've worked with all those other ones, on top of having to have another program to take care of that other stuff. So you are right on the aspect that it really works all together, and it's a heck of a lot less expensive. Plus, you guys also work with Stripe and American Express to keep the money coming in. Why was this so important to put it together like this, to where it was an all-in-one thing?
Yeah, I think, when I started it, the reason I said earlier was my brother, but it also was, you know what, Zach, I was very successful in corporate America, helping companies grow, and I just really never felt professionally fulfilled. And it was important for me that, in this second half of my life, that I give back in a way. I mean, there's so many mistakes I've made, both personally and professionally, and I didn't want to be remembered for a guy that was in corporate America. What was I doing? And so we started Auxilia, and then when I met two of my partners, Aaron Gray and Ayanna Rutherford, a long time ago, actually, I asked them to join the company. As former executive directors, it really gave me a tremendous amount of insight on what Auxilia needed to be day one. And it really needed to be an all-inclusive, right? That's kind of like everyone, that was a trendy word back, way back when, all-inclusive, whatever. But we wanted to make it really simple. As I said, a lot of these nonprofit leaders, these executive directors, these development directors are so busy, have so much going on. It's very hard for them to learn the technology. It can be very complex. And so it was just really important that we tied all of it together in one simple place. Look, I want to do hats off to Aaron Gray and Ayanna Rutherford. I also want to give major props to Jessica Jacobson and Amanda Farinelli. These four individuals drive me every day. They are the reason Auxilia exists. They are what makes the company go. The culture that has been created here with our employees in the Denver community and elsewhere in San Juan, Puerto Rico has been nothing short of spectacular. And what they've created, the software you just showed, I mean, that's all of them. I sometimes get all the accolades, but frankly, I shouldn't get any. That should be those four individuals specifically. Something that resonated with me. I met a woman about 4 weeks ago. Her name is Jean Troy, and she's a consultant out of Pennsylvania. Just a spectacular individual. I didn't know her previous, and she's been in the nonprofit space, Zach, for 27 years. I told her, about, did you start when you were 6? But at the end of the day, she has been a huge proponent of an advocate of Auxilia, and it has really been touching to me because, again, I won't name names, but she's used about 15 to 20 other software platforms in this space, and she's like, "Look, somebody asked me, I thought so and so was the gold standard." She's like, "No. Like, I know Auxilia is newer, and it hasn't been around for 25 years, but they're the gold standard." I've used every platform, and I've not met a team that is supporting nonprofits the way Auxilia is. So it's not just software, and that's what I would want your viewers and listeners to understand. It is an experience. It's here's software, but guess what? We're going to show you how to use it properly. We're going to be by your side every step of the way, and you get this team behind you. Yep. And I'll leave you with this, my friend. Our clients that are using our fundraising strategy team as well as our software are seeing on average a mid 20% increase in donations. That's not one or two, Zach. That's our client base, and that's something that we are beyond proud of. It has exceeded our every wildest imagination, and I couldn't be more proud.
Well, we're going to have to cut this short here pretty soon. But once again, I know that you're a very busy man. But I just wanted to show this to everybody. This right here is auxilia.com, and it's the auxilia.com on the interweb thingy. And all you got to do is you go here, you can meet the team. Here's the great team that you've been talking about, just great people. I've had a conversation, I believe, with everybody, and more. Your assistant is a fantastic person, by the way. I love her hair. She's we keep talking about that, but your team is great. Everybody around you is great. And one of the things that I truly believe, and this is something that I've been telling quite a bit of people about lately, is that if you think that you know what you're good at, okay, you know what you are a quote unquote professional at, and if you think that you can manage it all, well, then you're kind of not a professional at anything. Auxilia makes it easier to be more professional at a lot of things because it's all tied in together. So it makes it so much easier to work for getting out emails to people, thank you letters to people, making sure that all the money's coming in that you're expecting, making sure it's going to the places where it needs to go, and make sure your team is working with the people that they need to work with. Steve, who are you looking for most? Who is your prime clientele? Who do you want to see most?
Yeah, you know what? I would answer the question this way: small and mid-sized community-driven nonprofits. I think what the Red Cross and the United Way and all those folks are doing are absolutely spectacular. A lot of times the small nonprofit is forgotten, and I'm here and my team, we are all here to help support them. You remember the fires here in Colorado not too long ago over the holidays, how awful that was. How many small nonprofits stood up and took care of people, shelters, food pantries, things of that nature. And by the way, a lot of large organizations as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from that, but it's critical. They need donations. They're on the street, they're on the street, feet on the street every day, all day. They're not just there when the disaster hits, they're there every day, all day. And I want to support them with my team. I couldn't be more blessed to be here and more excited. Listen, brother, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I'm better for knowing you. And I know you say I'm busy. I am, but I'm not too busy to help another nonprofit out. We're committed to doing everything we can do, and I love what we're doing.
I absolutely agree with you, and I thank you so very much. One of the thing about the small to medium nonprofits that we love the most is the ones that are out there, feet on the ground, the ones that are out there handing out the sandwiches and the blankets and everything right there. It's not employees, it's the founders of these organizations that are out there, because we don't have time to go and hire, we don't have the resources to hire people to go do that stuff. We're the ones who are out there actually trying to meet people and do the good things, and that's one of the great things about the small to medium nonprofits. Steve, how do people get a hold of you, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. So, they're on your screen. You certainly can go to www.auxilia.com. Listen, you can reach me at spalek, so my first initial S, Palek, Palek, at theauxilia.com as well. I will respond to everything. Look, in a world that needs a bunch of kindness right now, we've got a war going on, we've got a lot of bad things going on. We've got the infamous slap at the Oscars, my friend, right? All jokes aside, you're not going to find a more friendly, kind group. I'm so proud to lead my family here of employees. They are all family. We just are committed to helping nonprofits grow, and we will grind every day to make sure we do.
Auxilia is a forever gold family. They're going to be with us they're with us now. They're going to be with us as long as this company's alive, and we absolutely love Auxilia. We use Auxilia. This is one of the things that you guys have helped us do many different things, and I appreciate your partnership. And it is a full partnership. But you just remember, and this is to all the nonprofits out there, if you guys need help keeping organized, this is the man to get a hold of. His team, Ayana, Jessica, Amanda, all of them. They're beautiful people. Everybody's so easy to work with. So just make sure that you reach out to them. If you need to get a hold of them, that can always also be found on our webpage, communitypayitforward.us. Just type in Auxilia and you'll find them. So Mr. Palick, I appreciate it. Long time coming. Finally got this done. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Zach. We'll do it again soon. Take care.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great one.
Thanks, brother.
Who the hell was that guy with the long hair? What was that? Okay, so it was a day or two that I recorded that, but it was nonetheless very important. Auxilia is still a huge part of what we do. Everything from the email blasts to Footprints Forward. They help us with everything this company is. And I just cannot, if you run a nonprofit, give them a call. It's all I ask. Just give them a call. Instead of having 14 different things that you're paying for, pay for one and get all of it. It's worth your time. Just check it out. All right, everybody. That is about all the time that we've got for today. Once again, I want to thank Stephanie. Get a hold of her on her Linktree, Steph Samos. You can always go to our Facebook page. We showed you before. It's in the chat down below. And you can get a hold of me on my formycard.net or go to communitypayitforward.us. Please remember to love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Always, always, always remember that if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Please remember food, cold, hunger, all that stuff. If you don't have it, if you suffer from it, it kills us all. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, red, purple, orange with a yellow bouffant. I don't know. Look, we're humans. Let's take care of each other. We're all we got. So please make sure that you join us at 6 p.m. Eastern as we replay a lot of these interviews that we've been doing throughout the week. And join us Monday at 11 Eastern for Footprints Forward. Thank you all very much, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home. Out alone, you show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.